So you've been in business for quite some time, 20 years. You actually even went through an acquisition, which we're going to delve into a little bit later. You got 4 employees. So tell me, after all this time, is owning your own business a blessing or a curse?
It's definitely a blessing. I mean, you can't be anything else, especially if you do it for 20 years. But that being said, it's being an owner is a lot more complicated than being an employee. So and it has its own problems and issues. Constantly looking to solve.
And it is complicated. I agree. I mean, I've been in business for quite some time, and it just seems like every day is sort of new. And we face things that we never thought we'd face before. For example, one of the challenges, you've been in business for quite some time. So you went through that whole period of the 2008 crisis. You went through the pandemic. You went through all those things. Tell me about that, and how did you persevere? How did you get through it all?
It's funny you bring that up, because I've actually gone back and looked at my financials during that time, and I just scratched my head, and I just wonder, how in the world did I make it? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. The printing industry was deeply affected by the 2008 financial crisis. It was a significant shift. The internet was around by then, and people were doing Google ads and all that kind of stuff. So that wasn't new, but that financial crisis, that's when companies decided, you know what, maybe I don't need letterhead anymore. Maybe I'm not going to print my ads. I'm just going to buy Google. And so the printing industry went through a drastic decline, and we were lucky right at that point. We got one customer that was just sending us all kinds of business, and so we kind of weathered it through. But then by 2010, we lost that customer, and we were back to basically 2008, and we totally had to rethink it. And that's when we came up with the ShortStack Printing concept, and we basically fired 80% of our customers.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that was pretty scary.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a fascinating story, first of all. And so you're going through this, and you're trying to make this, and I'll use the word pivot. That seems to be a popular word, especially through the pandemic. So you had to make these adjustments at the time. How did you do that? Was this something that you decided to do on your own? Do you have resources available to you in terms of people you talk to? Because many times as business owners, you feel like we're isolated and making decisions on our own. How were you able to make it through that period of time and make those decisions?
Well, first of all, my dad is my biggest advisor and so forth. But it's interesting because we don't see eye to eye on many things. So it makes it kind of tough to decide which advice to take and which not to. For instance, he thought the ShortStack Printing idea was not a smart move for us, and yet it ended up being. It was again a very risky move, and I think that's why he didn't like it. Mm-hmm. But the reality was it was the right decision.
Hey, if you like this segment, be sure to watch the entire episode linked in the description. And don't forget to comment, like, and share.
This podcast was made possible with the support of our sponsors. Find more ways to grow at chieast.org.